Is Bitcoin forming right here a double top, and is it going to crash right here to the downside? Will the regular financial markets lead the way with this big crash that is coming? I'm going to show you some signals in today's video which will tell exactly what is going to happen with the Bitcoin price in the near future. And of course, we are going to have a look at the altcoin market cap, and I'm going to show you a level which should not be broken in order for altcoins to continue to look bullish. But guys, first a quick announcement. As you can see, this is the Femex platform, and we have a very big wick to the downside on the Bitcoin pair using Bitcoin as collateral. And of course, this is not nice because this is just liquidating a lot of traders while it is unnecessary, and it is the fault of the exchange. Therefore, I'm personally not going to use this platform anymore, especially not with the Bitcoin US dollar perpetual contract using Bitcoin as margin. But guys, I have found an alternative, and that is BTCC Exchange. This is the new exchange that I'm going to use, and they are going to be a partner for this channel as well, because guys, they are offering some unique futures, like of course all the regular crypto trading pairs, but they also have tokenized stocks. So for example, you can trade gold over on BTCC using US dollar Tether as collateral. So this goes beyond crypto trading. You can trade the regular financial markets, commodities like gold. I find this very interesting, and it is a very liquid exchange with not these crazy wicks that you are seeing on either side liquidating many traders. And guys, BTCC actually reached out to me, and they offered a special bonus to the whole community of the blockchain today. This is quite a big bonus, guys, because you can get a 10% deposit bonus up to 10,000 US dollars, which you can just freely use for trading. Next to that, you even get like up to 40% discounts on your trading fees, which means that the fees are very low and the deposit bonus is actually pretty huge. So if you deposit 5,000 US dollars, then you will get 500 US dollars in trading bonuses, which you can purely use for trading. You don't even have to risk your own money if you don't want to. Guys, if this sounds interesting to you, try a new exchange, no VPN, no KYC needed. You can trade stocks, you can trade crypto, 10% deposit bonus and discount on your fees. I think this is actually a pretty good deal. Make sure to join with the specific affiliate link down below to be eligible for these bonuses. So guys, after Bitcoin has been correcting for multiple months, forming a low right here, it has been rallying without any correction from 74,000 US dollars all the way up to 105,000 US dollars. That is a rally of 40%, and now the majority online are just bearish. People thinking like a big black swan is coming, everything is going to go down. And I find that a little bit exaggerated, because if we just look at this price action, we had a very strong bounce. There are some reasonings, of course, that people don't trust this bounce, but be careful with not trusting the price action, guys, because the clear sign that we have right here is we have some consolidations for a couple of months, and all these losses were regained in just a matter of days. Guys, this went really fast, so be careful with being too bearish. But I'm also going to give you some opposite reasoning as well, of course, in today's video, because I want to give you a very objective perspective on what is happening in the markets right now. And first of all, let's go to the 60-day cycle, which we can see over on willporter.com. Right now, we are on day 40, and we know for a fact that after day 30, we often see a little bit weakness, or we could see some weakness in the Bitcoin price. And therefore, going to the next 60-day cycle low, which would be roughly at early June, the 7th of June. So we can, for example, like put an arrow at that level. So roughly around this time period, we are expecting a new low in the Bitcoin price. Doesn't mean that that low has to be here. That doesn't mean it at all. It can be, for example, like Bitcoin can still do something like this and then form a low right here. in bullish markets, it sometimes act like that. It can also happen that Bitcoin is going to get like a correction, form a low right here, and then we are going to continue to go up. And so we do get a correction, and everybody is leaning to this scenario, but does that mean that we are going to get a full-blown correction, black swan event? Things are going to get so ugly in this chart? Well, not necessarily. At least those indicators we do not have right now. So if you are, for example, taking profits on your Bitcoin holdings, it can be a smart move if you try to re-enter later. But if you do it because you think the market is just going to crash and we are going back to $50,000 or something, I don't believe that right now there is clear reasoning for that. So yeah, I personally just believe it is better to be bullish after such a move, after so much strength in the Bitcoin price. But let's go over the warning signals, guys. First of all is the S&P 500, which kind of gives like both indications in one chart, because look at this strong bounce. This is a very strong bounce, and if, to be honest guys, if it would only be a retracement, we just broke above the golden ratio right here as a retracement. So if this would be extremely bearish, the regular financial markets, we would do something like this, have a continuational move to the downside. We are not seeing that right now. The market's just pushing higher. But again, there is a but in this chart, because if you go to the daily time frame, we have all these gaps. So we have like a gap right here, we have a gap right here, and the chances that these gaps are being filled is of course very high, because all of these gaps most of the time eventually will get filled. There could be an exception, of course, in the times that we are trading right now, because we maybe have a very bullish year where this chart is just going into a blow off top, leaving everyone behind who is hoping that these gaps are being filled, only to fill them maybe like later in the year. Maybe even in 2026, when we first get a blow off top. This is a potential scenario, so that's why this is really a confusing period, because there's a lot of strength in the regular financial markets, but with that strength we are seeing some gaps, which of course make a lot of investors a little bit worried, because these gaps tend to get filled, and statistically there's a very high likelihood that these gaps are getting filled. Then let's go to the stablecoin dominance charts, which are very interesting because they often tell us exactly what Bitcoin is going to do, right? So when we have a look right here at the USDC dominance and US dollar Tether dominance, and let's just go to the weekly time frame first. Let me show you, because this chart is a little bit frightening, a little bit shocking, and that is that pattern wise we have kind of this falling wedge formation, and we did make a higher high right after making a lower low. So we have made the first higher high. That is a little bit something to be a little bit concerned about, especially if we are going to form a higher low and then we are going to break above this high again. So that should definitely not happen. If we break above this high, that is definitely a big warning signal for Bitcoin. Definitely, guys. If we go to the daily time frame, you can see the pattern in the shorter term time frame. We have also kind of a falling wedge right here. Breaking this falling wedge to the upside, we do not want to see too much strength in this chart. We want to see this coming back down and breaking this support. It is for now still completely fine that we get a reaction right here. I mean, that's more than logical. I want to say that, but we shouldn't get too much strength right here. We should turn around rather quickly and break below this low. That's going to be very important. We can see it better right here in the US dollar Tether dominance. This chart looks a little bit better. Why? Because we have this bigger descending channel, and so far we just broke back into this channel, which generally is a very bearish sign for the chart, so therefore bullish for Bitcoin. And this high has been a lower high than from the previous high, so definitely this chart looks a little bit better than when you look at the USDC chart there as well. So with this chart, it's the same thing, guys. We can break out to the upside, but we don't want to see too much strength. We want to see a rejection at these levels, at the former support, right? We really want to see a rejection there, because too much strength in this chart will definitely be a very big red flag for the Bitcoin price, and especially, guys, for altcoins, which of course brings me to the next topic. That is the altcoins. I'm heavily positioned in altcoins. I haven't taken any profits during this rally. We have seen a pretty nice rally from the support all the way to the resistance. And now the reaction that we are seeing at the resistance, getting a little bit of a pullback, is still perfectly normal if you ask me. But we don't want to see this pullback going too deep, right? So we could come back to the 50%. That would already be a little bit far ahead, but we want to see like kind of like a short pullback, and then we want to see another try right here at the resistance. And the lower this goes, the more weakness it actually shows, because we already had a big liquidation event right here. Altcoins has been already pushed with their face to the ground, so there has been already a lot of liquidity that has been grabbed. So I don't think this chart really should be going that much lower again. I actually think this chart should get a pullback, and we should like pretty briefly should test resistance again, because the longer it takes and the farther we are going to come down, the weaker this chart looks basically. So guys, which levels to watch for Bitcoin? Well, of course, we are based on time. We are late in the 60-day cycle. We are getting closer to the next 60-day cycle low, which will happen roughly in 20 days from now. So I do not expect like directly so much firework that we can go parabolic again. Maybe we need to cool off a little bit into that 60-day cycle low. Maybe we get another last push, grab some liquidity, then have that 60-day cycle low. But the important thing right here is, guys, that we do not want to pull back that deep to the downside, similar as we do not want the stablecoin dominance to break with a lot of strength. No, this one should like small bounce. It should be a little bit choppy price action, and then it should come down again, breaking below the lows for the stablecoin dominance. And for Bitcoin, it's going to be the opposite, right? We want to have a pullback right here. I mean, that's pretty healthy, a pullback to have around these levels. And then we want to see a continuational move to the upside. So where can this pullback bring us? Well, first of all, guys, the first level to watch is of course 97,000. That's the previous high right here in this uptrend. And during this uptrend, we didn't get any pullbacks at all. So it would be really beautiful if Bitcoin get just bought up on these levels. It would bring a unique buying opportunity, and then break above these highs again after the next 60-day cycle low. That would be a very beautiful scenario, but it is possible. We get a little bit of a deeper correction, maybe to 88 to the 50%, and with the craziest extreme to the 61.80%. But actually, that's already a level we don't really want to see. We do not really want to see that, because we broke out of a multi-month range right here. We broke out with a lot of strength, and generally speaking, guys, when we are breaking from these long consolidation ranges, we have some corrections along the way, right? But we generally want to be in the direction that is breaking out. We want to see strength. We want to see nice rallies. So for example, here we have another one. We break, we have some consolidation. This one, consolidation, is even going upwards. So while Bitcoin is consolidating, the price gets bought up all the time. That is very bullish. Here we get a small top correction, bam, we go higher. So we want to see similar price action like this. Don't trade too long, too low. If we go down, it should be quickly bought up. There should be a lot of strength in this chart right now with the momentum that we have going on in the chart, not really online, because like I said, everyone is talking about black swans and crazy corrections, like I said, which is possible, but it would be very much increased with breaking below this box right here, because that would coincide, of course, with stablecoin dominance breaking out to the upside. Would be very bearish for altcoins, would be bearish for Bitcoin. It would just show a lot of weakness in the chart. So we basically do not want to see that, but to have a pullback at this specific time that we are right now and the specific level that we are right now is still perfectly fine. So guys, I hope I could help get rid of some doubts that you might have, gives you a little bit of control over the markets, on what to watch for in the next coming days and weeks. We want to see strength in these charts, similar with the altcoins, guys. This is going to be very important. And guys, do take in mind that in hindsight, it's always so easy to explain if this is going to come down or whether this is going to go up. Afterwards, it's always easy to going to say, yes, this was the obvious move, right? Right now, we are not seeing it yet, so it's very difficult to predict. But you gotta stick to some principles that work for yourself. And one of the principles that have been working for me has been time. So time on the shorter term time frame tells us, yes, we could get a correction, we can get a pullback. But if we look at the 4-year cycle, we are in the last 6 months of that 4-year cycle. That is generally the moment that everything is getting pushed to the highest level. I see a lot of insecurity online, people expecting, the opinions are really divided, and I think that's actually a good sign. I feel that insecurity also a little bit. That tells me with my own emotional state that yes, there is a lot of insecurity in the market, which is actually good, because if we just stick with the facts, couple of months we have a correction, bam, in a couple of days and weeks this correction completely wiped out, back at the highs. And many people feel insecure, scared, and they are panicking for a big drop. Like I said, it can happen, but do look at this from an objective perspective. We have a 40% rally and everyone suddenly turns bearish. This shows a lot of strength if you ask me. But okay guys, that was it for today's video. If you want to check out another exchange, guys, make sure to check out BTCC. Make sure to take advantage of this huge deposit bonus, especially if you are interested in trading commodities and stocks using US dollar Tether as collateral. So you can basically use your crypto to trade different assets across the board. I find it very interesting. Yeah, like I said, you do not even have to use your own funds if you want to open a free trade, because you get a 10% deposit bonus and you will get up to 40% lower trading fees. Well, that's almost half of the fees that you are going to pay. So that's actually pretty decent, guys. So I leave a link to this exchange with this specific promotion down below in the video and in the comment section. Make sure to check that out if you are an experienced trader, of course, and if you like to trade and if you like to get to a new exchange, make sure to check them out. Guys, I want to wish every single one of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.